So, good evening, Michael. Thanks very much for coming along. It's a great opportunity. Well, for you to get an opportunity to meet a number of Combilift customers here from Victoria, and very much it's a celebration for us. We're actually 26 years in business this year. We've been doing business in the Australian market now for 22, going on 23 years. And if you think of any of the markets we do business around the world, I really enjoy coming to Australia because for us, for Combilift, even though we've generated a tremendous amount of business in this market between Combilift products with Adaptalift here on the ground, we're only scratching the surface. And you know, I was in Sydney yesterday and Melbourne today, and when you look at, even though in terms of business might say the economy's not growing a lot this year, but when you look at the costs of industrial buildings, they're just increasing here. Rental cost per square metre is higher than it's ever been. And when you think of off-site construction, it's the really future of actually getting buildings manufactured efficiently and to a high quality standard. So you can just see the growth of how that industry is transforming the industrial buildings, but particularly more the domestic housing market as well. Well, I think we do know the Australian market, probably like the US market, there is still a lot of nearly, if you want to say it, that stick building manufacturing out in the rural areas. But Australia has developed so much over the last 10 to 20 years. When you think of heading towards that modular manufacturing, you know, prefabricated wall panels, truss plants, but in terms of fully fledged off-site complete buildings, it is a long way to go to compete with like the Scandinavian market, you know, where you'll go into an automated factory manufacturing the complete wall panel with tiles, electrical sockets, water, plumbing done. So there's still a lot of progress needs to be developed in this industry here. But when you look at the cost of labour here in the Australian market, it's really the only efficient way to manufacture houses at a more affordable price, because the more automated you can make that process, you can enhance quality, reduce waste, and of course bring a better value product to the customer at the end of the day.
One of the big issues with modern methods of construction is that it's the whole manufacturing life cycle. And where do you see Combilift's role within that modern method life cycle?
Well, if you think, like, we're all living in a world where we want products to last longer, and if you take Combilift forklift trucks, that's one of, within the DNA, we invest 6% of our revenue goes into R&D. We develop products to save space. And when you think of that long-term value and reducing carbon footprint, we enable companies to make a more efficient factory, to put more throughput through a smaller building, to reduce their carbon footprint. The vehicles we manufacture are over-engineered. They actually last too long. Like even today, I already visited a customer that is a Combilift that's 20-year-old, and that's common. You'll see Combilift vehicles that's going to last 20 plus years. And many manufacture, too many products you see on the market today, their life, whether it's white goods at home, washing machines, they have a shelf life of 5 years. And I think if you think of the future, it's really developing products that's going to last more longer term. But in terms of modular manufacturing, that's where companies can put together quality buildings in terms of that they can give a quality length to the longevity of what they're putting together, because they're putting quality product in. It's assembled in I'd call more in a technology, scientific approach. So from an engineering, if you think in terms of engineering, if you want to minimize weight and costs, if you can engineer that to perfection, you can cut waste out. If you try and build on site, you're going to put in additional product to make sure it's rigid or strong enough.
One of the, if you like, the process of Combilift is that you like to be involved at the early stage of the manufacturing setup, if you like. So, you know, I also understand that you can tailor the machines accordingly for the manufacturer's needs.
Yeah, and I suppose that really fulfills, like when you think of Combilift, we're not just manufacturing forklift trucks, we're manufacturing equipment to save warehouse space. Mm-hmm. And as you rightly say, for a company that's deciding to do a new build or a new factory build, the earlier we're involved in that layout, we can come up with suggestions. Maybe the posts in the building should be moved so you can optimize that flow. So we're not just a forklift supplier. We actually, free of charge, we offer free warehouse consultancy service so that people can optimize their flow within their factory, save the space, maximize the output. And the earlier we're involved in that approach, the better. And in many cases, for us, if a company has only put a building in for planning, before they even start to put the structural part in for the steel or the posts, we can even bring more value at that stage. And of course, it's not just our forklifts to move the raw material in the factory. We have our straddle carriers to move finished buildings. So a company that's in the off-site construction, that's manufacturing completely modular buildings, we have these straddle carriers can actually straddle over the house or whatever's been manufactured, lift it, bring it out to storage or put it on a transport vehicle straight to ship to our client. So for us, we're very much a company that's offering a solution right through that factory process, from material, raw material in, manufacturing, finished goods going out.
So the conversation with Combilift is really the entire life cycle of the manufacturing process. Is that fair?
Yeah, and that's, it wouldn't have been that way day one. When myself and Robert set up the company 26 years ago, we developed the Combilift multi-directional truck for handling long products. And for the first 10 years of our business, that's what we really focused on. But today our product offering, we have products to save space for palletized goods, so that could be components in the manufacturing, the long products that goes into the manufacture, and the finished goods, which when something's been manufactured, it's getting bigger, it's getting heavier, and our equipment enables that to be transported more efficiently and safety. And when I take that word safety, if I think of the Australian market, safety is it's in everyone's agenda. Doesn't matter what facility you go into. And for us, that's really where we bring a second value proposition. It's not just the space we save, we enable customers to handle their product more safely within their facility. And not just even within their facility, but actually getting it to the customer site more safely also.
Martin, thanks so much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Michael. Great, and thanks very much for coming along this evening.